Hi, Gavin. Thank you so much for taking the time out joining on our podcast. So, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. It's the sun shining. Was raining earlier, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's great to have you on our show. I know we talked about a few months back bringing you on our show, but obviously, obvious reasons, we couldn't brought you in, and finally we found you. And it's a great pleasure to have you on our show. I know you're doing pretty much on digital marketing aspect of it really, really well, and as well as like a coaching side. So we have like our audience who love to listen to you about your story, how you got started, and what you used to do before you started your digital marketing agency. So tell us about more like we used to be before the Gavin Thorne we know right now.
Right. Well, I've always been a Gavin Thorne, so that's a given. But I think so. I'm now sort of the other side of 25 and a bit.
Yeah.
So I've had a life, and before I did what I'm doing now, I've always been in sales, marketing, business development, creating businesses, building teams. And the way that I've always done it is to empower other people. So that's how I work well. And I think that's how most people work well, is to find their best inner self and then really work on that. And so I'm really good at certain things. I'm really, really bad at other things. So I don't waste my time trying to be better at the bad things that I'm bad at, because it's a waste of my energy. Other people can fill those gaps. And so I've always mapped in what I'm good at with what I'm not so good at, and have a complementary sort of whole business. So the marketing side, Stixx Digital now, has been around for like 3 years in its current form. Prior to that, I was working in marketing, sales development for smaller companies on a retainer model, and it was kind of tricky because you're never really, even if you're really good and you exceed what you're supposed to do, you never get paid on it. You just retainer. And if you're not quite good enough 1 month, because sometimes that happens, you're beaten up. And it's kind of like, and I was in that sort of quandary of, I was earning enough money to survive, and probably more than the average person, which is sort of cool. But my stress levels and my expectation levels from my clients was like huge. It was as big as someone on, working for the Bank of England giving budget reports. It was just crazy. And so when I'd go on holiday with the family, I'd take all of my clients with me, not physically, but at the end of the end of an email. It's like, wow, I actually didn't really have a balanced life. I had some money, which is great, but also I couldn't do any more than I was doing because I could never scale me. Unless you could claim me, then I could only do what I could do. I couldn't treble my business because I couldn't treble my hours because I was working quite long hours. And I sort of had a bit of a sort of view on my life, and my children were getting older and growing up and stuff. And you start sort of thinking, well, what is this all about, really? And it's all about adding value to people's lives, either financially or not. And either way, it doesn't matter. But it's all about adding value. And if you haven't got the value for both yourself and your partners, clients, family, you've kind of got an imbalance. And I found myself in a bit of an imbalance. And I thought, well, this needs sort of really addressing. And so I sort of looked at doing more performance-based help, if you like, for clients, and that sort of started really quite quickly, and it went on, and it's gone on, to this day, and thank goodness it still does, and it's great. But it's all about, for me, it's all about giving the person that's I'm working with more value than the money they give me. If it's all about money, then everything is very basic.
Yeah.
and that's cool. You go to the
It's
shop.
it's not exciting. It's not exciting to work and wake up in the morning and look forward to something, isn't it?
No, it's just all about, there I get another £10,000
Yeah.
from that company, tick. It's great. No, but
Yeah.
to actually see them grow, to see them sort of expand their business, to help them
Yeah.
is just tremendous, and that's where we all need money, and that's a given. But actually to see people creating differences because of what you're doing with them, it's just
Yeah.
like, that's just where I sit. And that's kind of where I started doing coaching, because there's a lot of people that have, great hearts, really good at stuff. They've done courses, they want to do better. They want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And they sort of hit a bit of like a plateau and a brick wall, and they can't move through it, or they can't move around it or under it or over it. They're kind
Yeah.
of sort of stuck. And then they'll buy, another course, because that's what they're missing. They're missing doing that thing.
Yeah.
So they buy a course to do that thing. And there's nothing wrong with courses, but there's a big difference between buying a course and having education, which is entertainment.
Yeah.
Enjoying yourself, spending time, in effect wasting your time, and then actually having education and making action on that. And there's a
Right.
huge
Difference. Yeah.
And I'm a great believer in building something, starting something that isn't perfect,
Yeah.
because perfection doesn't exist. And if you think it does, you'll be forever, unhappy.
Yeah. We just have to get started and find out like how to make things better. Then perfection, it comes along the way. But at the beginning, we have no clue like what's going to happen. Is uncertainty there all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, my first web page back in the day. So I've been doing internet marketing. I've done loads of stuff, affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And I was back in the day when Google was just literally, you had to be able to steam up a mirror and you could make money on Google. There was no rules, there was no, affiliate marketing was rife. And then they fortunately brought in lots of changes, algorithm changes, which is brilliant, because it made people step up, doing better information, better internet. But from what I've seen over the time, people always want to take a shortcut, which is human nature.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to take long to be able to do something well. You just got to know the right path to do that well, if that makes sense. And there's a book out there, something like 10,000 hours before you master something. I think if you're like a surgeon, you're probably absolutely right. Or you want to fly a plane, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But in life, if you look at, you're recently a father, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently,
Who gave you 10,000 hours to be a dad? No one.
No.
You're a dad from the moment the child's born. You learn. You don't 10,000 hours and, oh yeah, I'm a dad. Yep, I've qualified now. So certain things you don't need 10,000 hours. You need the ability to adapt, get the support circles around you, family, friends, learn from other people who've learned from other people, and you just get through. And you every day
get other people knowledge, so that equal to like more than 10,000 hours. So
exactly.
Let's say I'm learning from my own dad, I'm learning from my brother, family members. So that equals to like more than 10,000 hours experience. They tell you what to do and not to do. Yeah, it's a great point you're covering.
Because you can morph into those 10,000 hours by knowing how to get there.
Yeah.
The other people have got it. And that's the beauty of what we do, is that skills are learned, absolutely, and skills are performed better when you practice, absolutely. But to begin with, you have no hours. You start from 0 hours, and then you just work through it, and then you make a mistake, and then and then you need support. Then like in any situation, being a new father, new mother, new parent, there's So you call on someone who's had that problem before. And that's mentorship, but you don't pay for it. Nobody really thinks about it like that way because it's family, it's friends. But that's what you've got in all of your fabric of life is mentorship, people who've been there before you and have got a better experience. I know, for example, for my second child, I knew that if my second child, when I left it alone, it wouldn't die. My first child, you sort of looked at it all the time thinking, oh my goodness, or it's breathing erratically, it's moving, it's like, and then you realize actually that's just part of life, but you're not used to that part of life.
I know.
You become that part of life.
I've been through that, like the first few days when I brought home my first child, and we are looking through is like, is he breathing all right? Is he still breathing? Is he okay?
Exactly.
And the anxiety and fear is there. Yeah, I totally relate to that.
And that's you going through, like we all have gone through, whatever we're doing, whether it's a child buying or bringing a new puppy into the world, or whatever it is, starting a new business, you have that bit of, oh my goodness, oh. And that's why, I've had a mentor, that's when the game changes for me, I guess. As I had a mentor, I knew I could do it, but I kind of needed someone else to help me, critique me, guide me, challenge me, make me accountable, make me even more determined than I was over the next bar. And I've been through two mentors. As you get mentored, you then suddenly start becoming the mentor. And so you outgrow that person, and that's super cool. And everyone does it. You look at the top people in this world, still they have mentors.
Yeah, definitely.
Going up and up and up. And I think it's a really important thing that the whole life of what we live is joy. If we don't have any joy in our life, we're kind of like a bit flat, and it's almost kind of it's the point. And so to find your joy is your base, and then to move on from that joy to the next bit of joy that you haven't realized until you hadn't realized it, is just the absolute part of life, which is tremendous.
I agree with you. So I saw, like you mentioned earlier on this podcast, so you saw a problem with your business is happening in the retainer model, and thus taking away your life. Like you couldn't spend a lot of time without being too much thinking of your business. You didn't have that time freedom and location freedom, because all the time you're thinking about your clients, their expectation and things like that. So you saw the problem, and now I decided like I need to make the change, even though you become in a certain area, like you already established your business, already you're earning more than enough for your living, but still you found the problem and trying to solve it. So when you're figuring out your problems, how do someone, they can go about it and solve their problems? So how do you advise them, like how to figure out when to say this is enough, now I need to change my circumstance and change my lifestyle better?
Okay, so are you sort of talking more on a personal level or a business level, although they are kind of
it's kind of both, they both relate to each other, so yeah, you can touch on both.
Okay, I think one thing that's really important is clarity. So when somebody's not in their best self, they're confused, they're living in fear, you are, in my opinion, you are your thoughts. So what you think about yourself, about the world around you, is what you see. So if you see things which are not good, then you'll keep repeating them again and again in your mind. And guess what? That's your reality. Life isn't good. I've got debt. How am I going to get out of this debt? I don't like debt. And all you're focused on is the negative part of the debt. But that's where you are, but that's never going to get you out of where you are. So you need to look at the non-debt, the opportunity, what is available to me to make my life different. We know that it's a debt, it's there, it's a given. But that's just an anchor holding you down to never move. So we need to now look at how we can see the difference.
Yeah.
and
And
how we can, yeah, a
finding the
path.
solution for the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the hardest, strongest, most positive things I know. And I've been there over the years, you know, and we probably all may have been there. And that's a beautiful thing to have been there,
Yeah.
because unless you've been kind of a rock bottom at some point in your life,
Yeah.
you don't know what it's like. You can read about it, but
Yeah.
unless you feel it, you don't know what it's like. And I'm saying everyone should be like that, but it's just, it's the most empowering, most frightening, most vulnerable, most strongest point in your life you can be, even though you don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better for me to help somebody who's got absolutely nothing and in rock bottom, and I can coach them and I can help them through a situation, because they've got, if they've got the right energy and the right determination, they will fly like a rocket. The hardest people to coach are somebody who is comfortable. They're really dangerous, because
They don't want to get out from the comfort zone. Yeah.
yeah, it's all easy. It's, you know, who cares in a way, you know, I can go on my holidays, I can do my stuff, everything's fine. Okay, great. But what if it's something slips off fine? You know, you are skating on a thin layer of ice. So to have a life's exposure where life hasn't been perfect, it gives you opportunities to be grateful, to manage it, to set expectations for yourself that prevents you becoming comfortable.
Yeah. And just to paralyze us, like we don't want to move ahead and don't do anything. So it's like you trying to say is like basically, instead of focusing on the problem around us, focus on the solution around us and see the opportunity and keep moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's lots of strategies you can use for that. And I think one of the strategies is having a third party person, whether it's, you know, your friend, your brother, your sister, whoever, it really doesn't matter. But somebody who can actually take you out of your situation and move you into the new situation. Actually say to you, yeah, okay, using the debt example, here you got a pile of debt, okay, and that's not going to go away unless you do something about it. What could be done? So, you know, you're working long hours at the minute. Cool. Are they the best use of your hours? Is there anything else you can start doing? What can we do to start being more empowered to look at the massive I was going to say money, but I don't mean money. I do mean money. But there's the opportunities that are around that would be able to sort that debt out. So you can either look at your life and go, well, this is how it is, or you can look at your life and go, well, this is how it is. But if I did A, B, and C, I can move where I want to be. My energy could be used in a better way that won't keep me held down here where I don't like it. You know, let's you know, empower ourselves.
Yeah. So in terms of like in your mindset right now, like obviously you have a lot of experience in business, you've been doing that for a long time. Do you still find out like there is a doubt, still you need a lack of confidence, or do you have to keep on motivate yourself, or just naturally you always motivated?
Okay, I don't believe in motivation. I used to believe in motivation.
Right.
The motivation is something that happens like a firework. You set it off and it goes wonderfully well, and then something happens and baff, it comes down. It's like, the analogy I use is it's kind of trying to convince someone. So I'm trying to convince you to buy, you know, this pair of glasses. And you're like, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, these are the best pair of glasses. They'll make you just see the world better. Blah blah blah. Brilliant. All right, Gavin. All right, I'll buy them then. So you buy them, and then it's like 2 days later, you phone me up. You know, these glasses you sold me, they don't really, you know, getting the benefit from what you said they would. Oh no, it's fine. Keep waiting for another week. You'll be fine. The
Yeah.
whole thing's flawed, isn't it?
Yeah.
You never needed really I'm convincing you of something you didn't believe in.
Yeah.
Once you believe in something, there's no convincing. So motivation is like, and I love Tony Robbins. Love him to bits, and what he does and all that good stuff. But imagine going into one of his conferences, events, and you go in, you're a bit low, you have this excitement and wow, this huge belief. You walk over burning whatever glass or
Proper
whatever.
energetic. Yeah.
Yeah, you come out and like, wow. But while you're in his company, you're like the strongest person you've ever been.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You leave 2 days later, then something happens in your life. Oh God, some problem. Oh, shit. And then your motivation is only where it was. It's not there. So what I try and do is get into patterns of repeating. So find your area of joy, wherever that is. Doesn't matter. A cup of coffee on whatever, eating something, jumping up and down, whatever, looking at a baby, whatever that is, and repeat it. And just keep repeating that. And you don't have motivation. You have complete and utter drive and contentment. And that's totally different. I think motivation is something you buy in.
Yeah.
But drive and contentment you get from within. And that's a huge thing that I would suggest people look at rather than the motivation stuff. So right, so every day isn't perfect in my world. I don't wake up every day going, woohoo, fantastic. But I do things like I go to a personal trainer because for me, I believe that physical exercise is good for body and mind. It focuses me, and I do it. And every day I don't wake up thinking, yes, this is me. But by doing that action, triggers the motivation for the rest of the day, even though it's not motivation.
It keeps you positive during the day. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's really important. So work out where you're getting your motivation from.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. And if it's coming from, I don't know, coffee, cake, alcohol, drugs, whatever,
that's
then
temporary.
That's an outside fix. That's not going to do a long or even medium term situation. And so it's kind of a different twist on a thing that keeps me going. And also, one thing that I would say is, I've got family and stuff, but it's not enough to do it for your family.
Yeah.
And that sounds awful in a way because your family are everything, or if you haven't got a family, other things are everything. But you've got to do it for yourself. You've got to do it totally for yourself first, then go out to the rest. Because if you rely on doing it for the third party, whoever that is, it's always an excuse. Do it for yourself. There are no excuses to not do it for yourself because you are the only person. I can't remember her name. Lisa Nichols, I think it was, from The Secret. She said, "You're the only person that sings your song. You're the only person that writes your story. And you're the only person that lives your truth." Other people can try and help you with it all, but at the end of the day, it's you. And self-responsibility, accountability is where it all starts from. And if you don't have inside you, then everything else is an excuse.
Totally agree. Like we are only one, like who control ourselves. Our emotion, our action is everything we control it. I can't control my spouse or family members, how they feel about it.
Or we don't control it. That's the real risk. And you pass off that control to your spouse or to not you, but to one's spouse or one's mum or dad. It's kind of their fault or in their control, and it's absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely. So like you mentioned, like you overcome like from a rock bottom and build to where you are at the moment. So if someone's like hitting a rock bottom right now, because I know it's in UK to everywhere in the world, this coronavirus and lockdown impacted a lot of businesses, impacted a lot of people losing their jobs, and a lot of people in a debt and lost their jobs, business. So they're in a rock bottom mentally, emotionally, physically, and obviously financially. So if someone hitting a rock bottom, what the steps you would give them advice, like with your own experiences, like how they overcome that and create a new version of themselves, go back to like even the better themselves from when the past where they used to be.
I think the important thing is that that's a really good question.
Thank you.
And it kind of has like 1,000 answers. And I think everyone's situation is unique, obviously,
Yeah.
goes without saying. But one thing I'd always suggest for anybody is go back to a place where things weren't as bad,
Mhm.
plus go back to somewhere where you find an inner peace and love for yourself.
Right.
If you don't have an inner peace and love for yourself,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit of a tough gig, because it starts from within. You can't tell somebody that they're brilliant, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, they're great if they don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of waste of time. So we've got to take them back to a time when they really did, before all this crap happened, whenever it was, even if they were like 3, 4, 5, before they were bullied at school because they were whatever it was.
Yeah.
Go back to that time when they were a wonderful human being before they let the world get inside their head and mess them around. And start there and work forwards, because everybody's got something, if not a million things.
Yeah.
And you just have to find that one thing that starts them off on the, oh yeah, I remember when I had my 5th birthday party, and there was a cake and this and balloons and stuff, and the world was great. And then I went to school and I had whatever and blah, blah, and it started getting worse and worse and worse. That's where we are now, but that's not where we started. So let's rewind. That's all just life. And if we keep replaying the same life, we're going to get the same results.
Yeah.
So let's go somewhere else in life and start again. What would you like to see happen better than it did happen? And that's an answer that only the person that I speak to could ever answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And start like trying to just like enjoy things. And start, my mum died of MS, which is a horrible disease, and it's debilitating, and she ended up being really ill for quite a long time and couldn't do much. And into a sort of literally on a deathbed, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before, she'd always say there's always someone worse off than me. And it's like, for me at the time, I was a younger man, healthy, it's like a head mess. It really was. But I think, thinking back on it, whenever you've got life, you have an opportunity. It's whether you can see it or be helped to see it that's the difference. And there are certain people in this world that we've been through, like Stephen Hawking, who had a major adversity, and got through. And there's probably a million people in a sort of similar position that didn't.
Yeah.
But if you can tap into that inner strength of yours, you don't know. You just don't know. And I think that's kind of where I'd take someone to begin with.
Yeah, that's great. Like without like you being in the rock bottom, you wouldn't realize what your potential is and what you're capable of. So we have to be there, because I remember like I've been through a lot of rock bottom, and I realized, because I lost my both parents age of 13, and both died within span of like 90 days time. My dad had a cancer. So
so terrible.
Yeah.
That must have been tough. It's very tough.
It was really, really tough. At the same time, was like I learned a lot from during that time as well. My dad knew he couldn't survive because he was in stage 4 cancer, and he'll start teaching me business at the age of like 11, 12, and guiding me through and everything. So I toughened up on that during the time, and I lived on my own for like a couple of years before I moved to UK when I was 16 years old. So I'm living in UK about 10 years now. So it wasn't easy, the journey, and like I had to come back from like a wealthy family to getting a job in being a dishwasher in a restaurant. And it wasn't easy, £100 a week, working 40 to 50 hours a week. It wasn't easy when going to college during the daytime. And I built my online business while running my restaurant on evening time and coming back midnight till morning. I've been running my online business, like doing affiliate marketing, learning SEO, Google Ads, and things like that. So yeah, I've been through a lot of rock bottom side, and only thing keep me moving forward is like it improved me and just focus on the future rather than like my current situation is, and keep on moving forward, and thought like what I can control rather than like what's my circumstance are, because I know there's going to be change in future, probably 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, but it's not going to be there forever, and just kept
That's
moving forward. Yeah.
that's so true. That's a amazing personal story you just said. You know, that's really an empowering thing. Not everybody can be open like that, and I think if you are, which you are, that's a huge strength, because to hide things that scare you, that you've had in your past,
Yeah.
just hurts you more. But to actually be able to do what you just did, you know, we've known each other for a while. I had no idea, and it's an amazing thing, because you've taken what happened to you and you've
Yeah.
actually turned it into the man you are today. You could have been a different man. You could have gone to in victim mode. You know, why did
Yeah.
this happen to me? I can't believe this happened to me. I'm 14 and I've got my parents have both died, you know, within
Yeah.
90 days of each other. You know, and my whole life is ruined. You know, what am I going to do? And that can happen to people. And equally, it can't happen to people. It can actually bizarrely make them even more focused, even stronger,
Yeah.
have a story and a message to help other people, maybe in a similar situation. And it's empowering. It's a huge strength, even though it's a tragedy.
Yeah, that's why the whole plan and vision was for starting like my podcast. So I know I can share my own story also, like other people, like a guest like yourself, can share their own story as well. Like everyone
Mm,
share is unique, and you have like more experience than me. They lived enough life and been through a lot of steps like I haven't done yet. So that's the whole initial thought. It's like it's not only being me sharing my own story, it's about other people as well, so people
mm,
can get benefit from it. So me and my wife thinking of doing like a three-part series of podcast about like how we've gone through about our baby being in ICU, and we've been told in the next 24 hours our child not going to survive. There is not a 1% chance on it. So how we overcome that, and we've gone through back and forth hospital from Oldham Hospital. We've probably been 8, 9 hospitals so far in just
wow.
span of like 3, 4 months. It's all Northwest Hospital we've been through for different things like a CT
See,
scan, MRI, and etc.
you're in an amazing position, which is what takes us back to the beginning of
Yeah,
the 10,000 hours.
yeah,
Forget the actual number, but you
yeah,
have like built up experiences that you can't buy. You can't go to university and get that experience, but
definitely.
you can then share with
Yeah,
similar brand new parents, and you can help them. And
yeah, true.
that's the beautiful thing. You don't need to have done that for 10 years. You can do that for 3, 4 months. I remember speaking to you on
Yeah,
around that time when it happened, and it was just like I was just like blown away, because it's sort of it's never happened to me.
yeah.
Um,
It's for
and how you
5 months now. Yeah,
yeah, and how you've handled that, you know, and how you've had dignity and composure and strength through all of that is just fantastic. And if you have an opportunity to share that with someone in a similar position, wow, that's life, isn't it? That is it doesn't get any better than helping
yeah.
people. But you may not have had that help. You may have had to have created your own strength and depth and wherewithal.
Yeah, definitely. So me and my wife both had the strength because we got each other, but it wouldn't come without my own experience in the past. Because I lost both of my parents at an early age, and I knew about death and everything. I observed them really closely, and I've been through that situation. What's the worst case scenario of a human life is death. Anyone could be mine, my spouses, my child, my
Mhm.
parents. Obviously, they were passed away. It's a long time. My brother, sister, my close friends. Even though I lost my close friend, best friend, age of I was like 9 years old in like year four. We were on a summer holiday. I came back and he wasn't there. He had a blood cancer. Within 6 weeks' time, he gone.
Yeah.
And that's shocking. And I came up with loss of death and like that. And I wasn't expecting that this going to be happen with my child because our pregnancy with my wife and everything was so normal and everything was such a good boy. But all of a sudden, one day there's a lack of movement with our boy. And we had to go to hospital and found out like his heartbeat is not going well. They check your heartbeat is going straight line instead of going a zigzag. So they had to do emergency C-section, even though without me realizing they'd done it within 20 minutes. If there was a 5 minutes late during the operation, then he couldn't make it. And then I didn't see him like the next 4 hours. He was on oxygen in ICU. Then after 4 hours of the operation, my wife didn't see him. The doctor told me you can go and see him, and I was there. And even though the doctor gave him a morphine and everything, my boy was literally looking at my eyes, and like the tears falling through, even though he's a newborn child. And I
Wow.
recorded the video as well. And the next morning, we've been told he was actually born in Oldham Hospital, and next morning is like all of the medication, all of the oxygen is not working for him, so we have to take him to Elder Hay Liverpool Hospital. There's a children's specialist there.
Yeah.
We've been then transfer over there, and as soon as we get there, they told us there is no chance of him surviving. I asked the doctor, is a 50-50 chance? There's like, no. If it's next 24 hours, it doesn't make 1% progress, then there is no way. Because all of the medication, oxygen, nothing is working on it. So it's a
God,
tough thing. Yeah.
staggering, isn't it? It really is an amazing story.
Yeah.
But fantastic. He's 5 months old now.
Sorry.
He's 5 months old now.
Yeah, he's been 5 months last week. And
Really?
we've been to his consultant and physio this week, and they told us like how a normal 5-year-old should be. He's doing it exactly that, probably more than that. He is
Brilliant.
learning to like sitting down and everything for 5 months old, which is really, really proud moment for us compared to where he come from.
Razzle, sorry, can I just interrupt for just 1 minute? I've just been expecting a delivery, which I just need to get. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I'll just pause it for you.
Sorry. Yeah, apologies about that. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the story. Like, yeah, we had to go through a lot and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, still is a journey, and still we are progressing well. So yeah, slowly we'll
It'd be
see how it goes.
fascinating to see what his journey is in life.
Yeah, we are trying to create TikTok videos and everything, but his mom, he needs a lot of attention right now because of everything is gone through, because we're doing lots of physical activities, telling him lots of stories, so that way his brain can develop. So
Mm.
his mom's time is goes on that, and me with businesses and everything. So we didn't actually have the time like share the whole story yet, but we on a process of doing that, making a small segment of videos and upload it on TikTok. And also we planning to do on a December time podcast, me and my wife talking about it, how we've been through and how exactly what happened. I just told you in a brief, but there is a lot of depth into it.
Oh, I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
a lot of people will be like interested to know what was our mindset like during that time, which is most important. It's not about like the journey, it's about like how we dealt with the situation for both of us,
Because,
which is important.
yeah, I mean, sometimes families implode.
Yeah,
You know, if you don't have a strong enough love and bond with your wife, which you obviously do, it can actually go against you too. It's and that's
definitely.
so it's a testament how you and what's your wife's name?
She's named Arifa,
Lovely.
Arifa Chowdhury. Yeah.
Yeah, Arifa. Then it's fantastic. So she's a very strong woman.
Yeah, yeah, she is. We
Oh,
both come back from like a educational side, so she's a school teacher as well, so as well as me.
fantastic.
So
Lovely.
yeah, we married for 3 years now. So we're going
Okay, well,
strong for future. we don't know. So we're taking
Well,
one day at a time. Yeah.
pass on my love to her.
Yeah, definitely I will do. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. So yeah, fantastic. So it just goes to show really that life is unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's fragile. It needs to have a lot of love in it. It needs to have a lot of positivity in it, but real positivity, not motivational positivity that, woohoo, great, way, fantastic, but
Yeah.
genuine, consistent, um, reliable positivity, which you can call motivation if you want.
Yeah.
But it's more, I think we worked out today that it's a lot more than just motivation because,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. It's
yeah.
not like a short term, it's a long term game.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's more about inspiration rather than motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, when I was a younger man, I used to think life was a sprint. I
Yeah.
had to get things done. I had to, like yesterday, otherwise, problems. And as I've become more rounded and seen life, I realise it is absolutely a marathon, not a sprint. And it's an
Yeah.
easy way to live your life, if nothing else. You still
Yeah.
get great results. You get results quickly. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
you can't, but you can't keep um, sprinting
Yeah.
without something falling off, without something breaking.
Yeah. It's a slow process is better for like a longer growth and longer
Mm.
building something meaningful rather than short-term things. Like I believe in the beginning of my career doing like a multi-level marketing, things like that and everything. A lot of businesses I started, I thought like a short-term gain, but eventually the people I was look up to, they lost their credibility, they lost their business, company gone bankrupt, and all of a sudden people was driving a Rolls Royce and Bentley coming down back to like where they used to be. And then
Yeah.
from there, like I started, no, I'm gonna build something meaningful where
Mm.
I can see myself doing it 20, 30 years, probably the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then even though slow growth is perfectly fine rather than me going back to like where I started. So yeah,
Yeah.
coming to your point is absolutely, I agree with it. Yeah.
Mm. For sure. It's the way to go. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So it's like absolutely honored to have you on our show, Gavin, and we're gonna wrap up soon. So if you wanna say something to our audience about like how can move forward with their life, having their mindset, and a few things, if you wanna share with them.
Yeah, I mean, so I think sort of the best advice I could give anybody is to, you're not alone with wherever you are. And that sounds a
Yeah.
bit dramatic, and it's not meant to dramatic, but if you're in a business, you've got partners or whatever, you still are a kind of alone. When we put our head down on the pillow and we go to sleep, we're
Yeah.
alone in our own heads. That's what I mean. But you're never actually alone, even though you've got your own thoughts and dreams, aspirations. Connect with somebody that you think
Mhm.
can make you better, stronger, whatever it is that you need clearer, better
Yeah.
clarity. And that's all. And there are people out there. Just choose the right ones. Don't waste your time on the ones that don't
Yeah.
don't
Give you
really.
wrong guidance.
Yeah, and if and by the way, this wasn't actually ever meant to be, in any form of a self empowering thing from me to you. But if anybody did want to get in contact and have a further chat, then I'm more than happy to do so. I'm ill prepared for that, so I don't know where. Anyway, what you can do if you really want to sort of have a chat or anything, start off with maybe hitting me up on Facebook. So it's Gavin Thorne. My
Yeah.
email is gavin@gavinthorne.com with an E. But I just wish everyone the best, the best that they want, and
Yeah.
I hope people don't spend their time in the weeds. I hope people sort of rise up a bit and find where they want to be. And sometimes you need people to help you. In fact, all the time you need someone to help you. And yeah, just loads of love to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gavin, for coming to our show. I know you have a valuable time and took out the time and sharing your knowledge and experience with our audience. I really, really appreciate it. So, all
Yeah, you're
right
welcome.
then, guys. Uh, this is a wrap. So we're gonna see you on the next episode. But thank you for listening. Bye.